Cox. But Claire has a question for you, and she wants to know, what is your go-to snack when you're writing?
Pardon? What's my go-to what?
Snack. So if you're just sitting around, because we like to sit around and eat.
I don't eat when I'm writing, which is actually a really good thing. But my go-to thing is espresso. And you should know that. I love my espresso, and I bought an espresso machine that I wanted finally. I bought that in July. And so right now I'm this latte kick. I'm making lattes. But yeah, I love my cup of espresso. I just had one actually. But that's what I'll eat or drink, I should say, when I'm writing. I don't eat when I'm writing.
Yeah, because you do a lot of writing, and that would be a lot of eating, and probably not healthy.
Yeah. No, it's not.
So yeah, Karen is on the espresso kick, and I don't think have I ever had an espresso? What do they sell at Starbucks? Are you a Starbucks fan?
I actually gave it up recently. I'm only making I'm making my own at home, and I'm using like almond milk and trying to be all healthy about it. So.
Oh, well, that's nice.
But it's still really good. It's still really, really good.
All right. Well, that's good. Do we have any other questions? We're going to be playing Stump the Author here soon. I know Karen's a little bit nervous about that, but you know all your books, Karen, right? You know all your books and your characters. You know everything they've said. You wrote it. You lived it. You slept it. You ate and drank it, right, Karen? You're good?
Oh, yeah.
Don't sound so convincing.
The enthusiasm.
Yeah, you sounded so excited about that. Oh, and your PA is on chat, so we do want to send a nice little shout out to Sarah. Hey, Sarah, thank you for all the work that you do. Karen loves you, and I love you too. All right, so we are going to take a quick break here, and I will let you guys know that we will select one person to play Stump the Author. So if you are interested in possibly winning a copy of Warrior signed by the Karen Lynch, then I invite you to jump on the chat here. I will pick a name at random. So while we're waiting to do that, I need you guys to go through her books, select out one line from any of the 4 books. And if Karen can guess who said it, she doesn't even have to say what book. We'll just say, Karen, if you can guess who said it. We'll still give you the book. If you stump her, we might throw something else in there extra. But yeah, so you need to stump her so you can win. Okay, got it? Everybody got it? Everybody? All right, we'll be right back. All right, everybody. We are back, and just wanted to let you know that we took that brief little break because I wanted to see who wanted to play Stump the Author with us. So I had to go in and take a look at some things. So we are back. And before we move on to that, Karen, I did want to ask you, out of all of your characters, are there any of them that you actually identify with, or any that you can say part of you is in that particular character?
I think part of me is in most of my characters, except for the really evil ones, I hope. Because, I think every author puts a part of himself into it. My friend, when she first started reading Relentless, the very first time she read it was before it was published. And, one chapter in, she said, oh, my God, I can see you in this. I can see, and stuff like, that guy in Ally and stuff like that. But I think Sarah, because she's the female protagonist, and I think sometimes I feel like a half demon as well.
You and the demons. I'm getting a little creeped out here.
Yeah. I mean, and why do you think so many people write about demons? I don't
want to think about that, Karen. I don't.
But remember, I have the good demons and the bad demons.
We'll go with that.
Good people and bad people. So.
I will tell you that Sarah said you were totally Jordan.
And totally what?
Jordan.
Oh, yeah, but she says that to me all the time, that I'm snarky like Jordan, or Jordan's snarky like me, because you have not seen some of our conversations.
Yeah, no, I don't. I would be a little nervous about that. I do have another question from Claire, and she wants to know, what was the most difficult part of writing your first book? Character building or world building?
Character building, definitely. When you're writing about a warrior that's like 200 years old, being a happy warrior, or a girl who's been through so much loss, and then she has to grow. And I had to make Sarah do a lot of stupid things because that was true to who she was. She was a 17-year-old girl who's going to make a leap. When we're that age, we think it can't happen to us, and we're not, and so even though a lot of adults are reading the books, I think some of them will identify. But, that was, at times that was hard to write because you're like, no, don't do that. That's so stupid. But you have to do what's true to your characters and not, necessarily what's true to you or true to someone else. To me, that was the hardest part of writing the first book. There's something hard about all of them, but the character building, definitely. The world building, it comes really easy for me. I have a big imagination when it comes to that kind of thing, so that just kind of just flows for me. Which is funny because I had a conversation with one of my author friends, and she's really good at love scenes and the kissing and the intimacy, and she hates writing fight scenes and stuff like that. And I'm the opposite. I thrive on the action and the, supernatural and stuff like that. And I'm getting better with the more intimate stuff. But yeah, that's actually, the harder stuff is actually the people, writing the characters. So you got to write characters that people can resonate with.
Right.
And that they can relate to. So that's the hardest part.
And then keeping up with everybody's character, do you have some type of format that tells you, okay, this person does this, she's like this? How do you even keep up with that?
It's all in my head.
Wow.
I tried, but, when you first start writing and you first start reading all these craft books, and they're like, oh, you got to do a character worksheet. Oh, you have to do this, and you have to do this. And I tried doing all that, and I found that I got so frustrated and so caught up in the mechanics of doing all these spreadsheets and things like, workbooks and stuff like that. I was like, I can't do it. It's too technical. It's taking away from the creativity.
Right.
I hear the voices in my head. I might jot down his eye color. His eye color is this, and, her hair color is this, or I might have to go back and look it up. But not for the main characters, obviously. But all the characters, their dialogue, their voices, their actions, how their personalities are in my head. And that's the best place. I think that's the best place for them. Let's hope I don't ever get hit on the head because I'm totally screwed. But, yeah, they're all up there.
I'm glad they're in a safe place.
I don't funny, but I don't know. My head can be a scary place sometimes.
Oh my gosh, we love it. We love the voices in your head, Karen. All right, we have another question from Sean. How do you stay focused while writing? He says he can barely do it while reading. Well, true, that me too. So how do you stay focused when you're writing?
Well, sometimes you'll get, a lot of times you're writing stuff that you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to write it. And sometimes you forget to stop. But other times you're writing things that are, they're necessary, but they're not as exciting. And you just have to treat it like a job. And I know that's hard to say when it's a creative process, but remember, writing is really just, I think, 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. And I think someone else said that, but when I was working full time, I'd come home at the end of the day, and I knew I had to put in a minimum of 2 hours every night, and then probably like 8 hours on weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays. You knew you had to do that. Now, a lot of authors, I switched over to start doing word count. So now I'm like, this past year has all been about word count. So now if I read like so many words a day, then I've done it. You've got it. You do get distracted, and you get distracted by the internet, and you get distracted by things going on around you. And sometimes you want to be distracted because you don't want to be writing on it, but you just have to, and you just push through it. And I know, like, I'll be sitting there and go, oh, I don't want to write this scene, or this scene is hard, and then I'll be like, oh, just do it, and in a couple hours it'll be done, and you'll be happy, and that's how it normally is.
So do you ever participate in sprinting? Does that help?
Yeah, I have. I think sprinting broke my brain recently. My friend Melissa, she writes like as fast as a NASCAR driver races. I don't know how she writes so fast. She got me doing sprints, I think it was September, and I think she broke my brain because after I sprinted for like a couple of weeks, I was like, I got to stop because now I'm completely lost track in the story. I've always been I'm not really a fast writer. I'm more like a slow boil when it comes to my stories. Mm-hmm. And if I write at a slower, steadier pace, the story kind of feels more real, and it doesn't feel rushed, and it lets you don't know the whole exact story. You know the general plot when you start a book. If you don't start the book. But you don't know every scene and the order that they're going to be in to make that plot happen the way it should. And so you're writing. Sometimes if I was writing too fast, I was actually not writing it the way it should be. So I had to go back and, this was on Haven, the newest book, so I had to go back and rework the first couple of chapters because I really got ahead of myself, and it didn't feel right to me. So now I'm not sprinting. I would love to. I was getting a lot of words in during the day, but I can't do that right now.
Yeah, and I think that you mentioned before we had chat previously, and you said, you have to just find what works. And for you, that's your process. Is like me, I read slow. So you just have to find.
I read really fast.
Okay, but I read slow. You have to find what works for you. And we definitely don't want your brain not functioning. We need it so we can get Haven at, So we're excited about that. But we are actually coming down to our last 2 minutes here, actually 1 minute. And before we end, I do want to thank Karen for sitting and chatting with me today. This was our first podcast, so of course there'll be some kinks that we'll have to work out. But I thank you so much, Karen, for sitting and chatting with me and spending a whole hour, even though the show is 45 minutes, but spending a whole hour with me. We will probably do Stump the Author on the next one because we kind of ran out of time, and we can only broadcast for 45 minutes per segment, so we'll have to come back for that. But if you are interested in following Karen, be sure to find her on Facebook. Also, she does have a group called Club YA, and we are the Mohiri. Other than that, we will chat with Karen again soon. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.